we'll jump on over to the semifinal games. We'll go in order of the Thursday game and then the Friday game. And we will get to continue to gush about Trinidad Chambliss and this amazing front that Miami has. Um, for me, and I'll kind of kick us off here, I think the way that Miami wins this game is by getting like finishing plays with Trinidad Chambliss, right? You were
Mm.
able to make um, Julian Sayin kind of look kind of stupid at times, look like a freshman quarterback. Trinidad Chambliss is coming off of this very transcendent game, but this is also his first year in D1 football. Given he was a good D2 football player, Ferris State, we all know his backstory at this point. But you had touched it, especially in the fourth quarter of that game, where it looked like Miami was able to, or looks like Georgia was able to get pressure on him, forcing Chambliss to roll out, but was just never able to finish the play. Now, Miami, if you want to win this game, you have to actually sack Chambliss because what this kid can do out of structure will absolutely kill you. So that's Miami's key to the game. And then obviously the vice versa for that is Chambliss has to continue to play that transcendent game that we had seen throughout the second half of that game, and you have to be able to protect him. So again, that matchup kind of just comes down to those edge rushers that Miami has. It kind of seems cop out because that's been kind of what we said about Miami throughout this entire process, but that is truly what it is for them.
Yeah, I think the biggest X factor in this game is some would say the large humans. The trenches of Miami are just so overwhelming. They have been for the last two rounds against better competition than Ole Miss, frankly. And so again, that's where Miami needs to again be the aggressor, be the bully on the block. And with Cristobal, I don't think that's going to change.
Yep.
And then for Ole Miss's side, you said like I think it needs to. There's a lot of there's a lot of X factors you can't just draw up in the dirt. It's just Chambliss can you not be sacked? Can you just keep
Yeah.
these drives going and just be this chaos creator, as I always like to call these quarterbacks, and just all the time just be able to make this a shootout. I if Miami wins this game, it's because it's a punch you in the mouth and they punched harder and they knocked him out. If this is a shootout and you get down to it in the final 5 minutes in a 30-30 game, you kind of favor Ole Miss. So I'm interested to see which way kind of swings. Um, I think one of the other things is with Miami playing A&M, in which A&M has 3 points, and Ohio State, that they didn't do a lot of tempo. Ole Miss is one of the fastest teams in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So Charlie Weiss is still going to be there. Charlie Weiss has been calling plays all season long, by the way. I don't think a lot of like people really understood that until the playoffs started. Is like this is Charlie Weiss's offense. Lane Kiffin is
Yes.
kind of like he was kind of the mascot of this team this season, and so like this makes it even greater. But they go incredibly fast, and I think that's the biggest thing. Is there was a drive in the A&M game where they took Mesidor and Bain off for a few snaps, thinking like, oh, A&M's going to run the clock here and do the 2 minute warning. A&M got like two chunk plays because they were able to go no huddle. They were kind of able to keep those guys off the field, no subs. So I'm really interested to see if Ole Miss is working to kind of tire them out with their overall tempo that they kind of master in a sense. Like they're just always going quick, and when you get some first downs, it just rolls, and it can convert those 10 play touchdown drives into like 2 minutes with how
Yeah.
fast they can go. So I'm really interested to see on how they just neutralize those guys because you just can't leave these tackles on an island. You really can't. You need to go into it. You got something tied behind your back, and figure it out. Figure it out. So interested
Yeah.
to see on how that goes. And then for Miami, like Miami's offense, they've kind of sucked, but they haven't turned the ball
They
over.
outside of Fletcher, they've kind of sucked. To
Yeah,
understand
but
it.
it's like Beck hasn't done the Beck thing, where
Yeah.
we like, where it's like 300 yards, two touchdowns, three picks. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
He's grown up. I thought
Yeah.
I thought he was excellent against the blitz against Ohio State specifically. I thought he was just he can recognize things. He's got it between the ears, and he gets the ball out where it needs to go. He knows his hots, and I think that's just don't give them the ball. Like I feel like I know it's that simple, but Carson Beck has had problems in the past of doing that, and that's why Georgia told him
Yes.
to go away.
Yeah.
But I'm really intrigued with this one. I think this is a really fun one, just from the state of like Miami wants to beat the hell out of you, Ole Miss wants to finesse the hell out of you. They want to go up and down the field and they want to make this a 40-40 game.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they want to run you out of the building, right? So, what is your pick for this game?
I'm gonna pick Ole Miss.
Right.
I'm gonna pick Ole
Okay.
Miss.
I'll do Miami then. Right, because it is a close game. I could go
Mhm.
either way. I was leaning Miami, so I'm glad you did Old Miss. I really wanted to pick Old Miss last week. If you listen back, you can see that I wanted to pick Old Miss.
Yes.
I didn't. I
Yes.
copped out. I should have. Yeah, no, you live, you learn. But I think Miami just does it with the edge rushers again. Miami have done it, has done it against better teams thus far. In A&M, we could argue if they're better than Old Miss or not, but definitely OSU. Um, so I'm just going to lean on the defensive front of Miami here. Before we get to the next game, I have kind of a I'm going to throw you on the spot here. An overarching question for the Old Miss of it all. Do you think there's any chance that they can convince Charlie Weiss to stay? Because he seemed hesitant at first to even go. Right, like if you go back and you look at the stories, like Charlie Weiss did not originally get on the plane to go to Baton Rouge, and then Old Miss like or Lincoln was like, okay, I'll take you anyways. Um, but like if Old Miss can make a deep run in this, I'm wondering if
They already have.
well, yeah, they already have. But if they can make a deeper run than this, I'm wondering if there's anything that Pete Golding and the AD there at Old Miss can do to convince him outside of retaining Chambliss. I think that would probably be a big factor in whether or not he is able to return. And I don't quite know what like the legality of it is in terms of like signing a contract with the whole LSU and whatnot. But like I'm wondering if they can do enough to convince him to just stay.
Dude, I don't know. I don't know the logistic. I feel like that would be I feel like it'd be so hard to get around
Yeah.
with like you said the legality of it all. But I mean, I'd
It's
welcome him
his
back.
offense, you know.
I'd welcome him back if you wanted to do it. But I think he's with LSU for the long
Yeah.
haul. I think this is just icing on the cake for him specifically. The other Lane did not expect them to win that game. He is because
No.
like what was it yesterday morning? It was like it was like now they're not now all the coordinators who were with Lane aren't going to return, and then it became oh just Charlie Weiss is going to return, and then it became like Kevin Smith, the running backs coach, was like no I'm going to stay like I like so I
Yeah.
think there is a lot of like there's a lot of juggling for these guys, but and I understand that's another point in emphasis for like Miami, but I think the overall you can't teach spiting somebody else. You just can't account for it. And Ole Miss making the
Yeah.
title game off of spite is pretty cool to think about in retrospect. And you think I'm going to pick the
Yeah.
ACC against the SEC? Come on.
They've already done it once, right? But I don't know. But like, let's be honest. I never. We will get into our Friday game. Again, the spreads are the exact same. Each team